Today we're going to be reviewing PlayVital's Aim Assistant Rings. A lot of you guys probably know these as precision rings, but PlayVital have done something very different. Whereas most precision rings are made up of this foam, which is not very durable, PlayVital's new precision rings are made up of silicone, which is way more durable, meaning they're less susceptible to wear and tear. On the packet you can see there are different straps going from soft, medium to hard. This depends on how much tension you want on your analog sticks when you are playing games. Now, just to do a quick comparison, you can see these are PlayVital's old precision rings and they are made up of this like foam substance, if it will focus, there we go, which whilst they are good, it isn't the most durable thing and they are very susceptible to wear and tear. You can quite easily rip these, whereas of course with silicone, they're a lot stronger, they're not going to be easy to rip, and they're going to last you way longer. So let's go ahead and put these on the controller and see how they feel. Right, so let's get these out of the packaging real quick. Pops off really easy. And so, as I said before, you can see on the packaging it has an indicator for, so blue soft, medium is purple, and then red is hard. So this is dependent on how much tension you want on the analog sticks. If you don't want too much tension, then you'll put the soft ones on. If you want just a little bit of tension, but not too much, again, you put medium, and if you want quite a bit of tension, you'll put the red ones on, which is hard. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the blues. So to put these on, very simple. You simply just stretch it over your analog stick. And let me just say, you probably don't want to be putting these on the left analog stick because that is your movement stick and you don't want to put any restrictions on your movement. You do want to put these on the stick that you use to aim with. So there we have the blue precision ring on, and I can tell instantly how nice this feels. It makes it have just a little bit of tension, and the reason why these are good is because with a controller, I'm sure a lot of you guys know if you've been playing controller for a long time, it's not as easy to control an analog stick as it is to control a mouse. With a mouse you've got so much range of movement, whereas with an analog stick you're limited to just a little bit of range of movement, and the slightest mistake can completely throw off your game. And there's really not much room for error when you're playing on controller. So with these aim assistant rings, it does exactly what it says. It will assist you with your aim. It's so that you don't like over aim or under aim. It just provides a little bit of tension just so you can be a little bit more thoughtful when you are aiming and hit those especially long range shots. So that's the blue one. I am going to go ahead and test these in game in just a second. Let's go ahead and put on the purple one now. Right, so we've got that one on there, and yeah, you can instantly tell this one is definitely a lot more stiff. And you're going to want to go through these and see what works for you, especially go through it in game, of course, and actually test it out and see what works best for you. But so far, I think the blue ones are my favorite. Let's get the purple one off, and then we'll go ahead and put on the red ones. And so this is the hardest one, and so yeah, you can feel that. So you really have to push in order to get that analog stick over. This one's probably going to work the best for people that have a lot of issues with aiming. It will just help you control that aim a little bit more so you can get used to it. So now that we've tried out all of them on the controller just to see how they feel, I'm going to go ahead and jump into Call of Duty so we can actually test these out, because it's useless just me putting these on and sending you how I think they feel. Let's get into a game and see if they actually work. Okay, so here we are in Warzone, and just right now we haven't got any precision rings on. You can see our movement, see the way we're aiming. So let's go ahead, slap on the soft rings, and let's try this out. There we go, we've got our soft ring on, and wow, yeah, you can instantly, like, you can feel the difference. So it makes you way more precise. Wow, I actually might start using these. And I understand they can be very useful for people that aren't super familiar with playing on controllers, but just from that small test, I can see how this could be massively beneficial to pretty much any controller player, especially when you're in those long range firefights, just to make your aim that much more precise. So that is the soft one, and as you can see, it is pretty soft. You can still move around freely with it. It just means you need to put a bit more pressure on the analog stick. But yeah, let's go ahead, switch over to the purple one. Okay, so here we have the purple one on now, which provides medium tension on the analog sticks. And yeah, like I said, the same thing for the blue one. You can definitely feel the tension, and I can definitely see how these will help with those long range firefights more than anything, to be honest. One thing I know that I struggle with personally, even though I've been playing controller for years, is just keeping my aim steady when I'm fighting against people across the map. It's very easy to just start over aiming, where with this, I just saw that guy moving, I could pretty easily track him and shoot him at the same time, whereas when you haven't got these on, you're just swinging everywhere. So that is the purple precision ring. Let's go ahead now and switch over to the hard one, which is red. Okay, so here we have the red one on, and you can feel there is so much more tension on it with this one. I would say this is for people that aren't the most familiar with controller and are trying to get used to aiming with it. This will probably be most helpful for you. If you're quite familiar with controller, I would recommend just maybe sticking to the blue, because as you guys can see, this puts a lot of tension on it. I'm pushing quite hard and it's still not moving very much. So yeah, I'll definitely say this is probably for people that are not the most familiar with controllers and are trying to get used to it. But one thing I would say is if you're using these, it might be a good idea to actually put your sensitivity up. So maybe bump your sensitivity up an extra 2 or maybe even 3, because it means, like I keep saying, you do need to put more tension on the controller in order to push your aim in a certain direction. So if you push your sensitivity up maybe by 2 or 3, like I said, it might just balance it out a bit nicer, just so it doesn't feel too stiff. So what are my overall thoughts on PlayVital's Aim Assistant Rings? I would say these are definitely helpful, especially if you're new to controller, or even if you've been playing on controller for a while and you just want to get your aim a little bit more better. Especially, like I keep saying, if you're in those long range gunfights, these are very helpful. I would say if you're an experienced controller player, but like I said, you're trying to get your aim a little bit better, I would say go for the soft ones, maybe even the medium ones. If you're using anything other than soft, I would say bump your sensitivity up just a little bit more to compensate for that. And if you're brand new to controller, maybe try using the hard ones just so you can get the aiming down, and then maybe gradually go down to medium and then soft. I also really like the design quality of these things. They're nice and stretchy. You can see that they do not just break. If I'd done this to one of the foam ones, it would just rip. And so yeah, it's a bit of a game changer. All the ones that you see online by other companies, they're all always made by foam, and I always see people online complaining about how they eventually rip or they're just not very durable. Whereas these silicone ones, as you can see, I can pull them, stretch them, they're not going to rip, and they snap right back into the same shape that they originally were. So would I recommend these, and do I think it's something that you definitely need for controller? Well, I definitely would recommend these. I wouldn't say you absolutely need them for controller, but I would say if you're trying to get your aim a little bit better, if you're trying to get that edge on people that are playing on keyboard and mouse, or even the edge over other people playing on controller, because aiming on controller is no easy thing. We have a lot of limitations on controller, and there's very, very, very small room for error when it comes to aiming. So these precision rings can definitely cut that room for error down quite a lot. So yeah, I would say overall these PlayVital Aim Assistant Rings definitely get a thumbs up from me, and I'm definitely going to be using these in the coming weeks on Call of Duty, just testing them out even more. And if you guys want, drop it in the comment section below and let me know if you want me to make a follow-up video to this one to see if these have really helped me out in games in the long run. And that is it for today's video, guys. I do want to say a massive shout out to PlayVital. They make some amazing products, so make sure you do check them out. If you want to pick these up, I'll have them linked down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because I upload content just like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.